Hi guys! So today I am working on coloring my first Halloween picture of the season and I'm really excited about it actually. I had a lot of fun working on this one from doing the line art, so I was really excited to move on and start coloring it. And when I chose the colors that I wanted for this one before I started, I knew that I actually wanted it to be very Halloween colored. And that might sound funny considering it is an actual Halloween picture, but in the past when I've done Halloween stuff, I've noticed that I've kind of shied away from actually using the traditional Halloween colors because I think that I like it to be more the mood or the theme is Halloween, but not so much that it's like really heavily thematically Halloween. So for this one, I knew that I did want it to be that way. I did want it to be a Halloween witch, so I knew that I wanted to kind of have this specific colors that I was going to be drawing from. So usually when I am working on the coloring and I'm done with the line art and I've moved on, there's pretty much always something in the line art that I notice that I need to go back and fix that just isn't quite right. And for this piece, it was the end of the broom, and the design of it just was not good at all. I didn't like it. And also the big issue was that the broom was going back into the distance. So it was on a perspective. So the front of the broomstick is a lot closer than the end of the broom, if that makes sense. And the way that I drew the first end where all the bristles, it looked like that part was flat. So because of that, it made the broom look very short because it looked like we were looking at it at a flat angle instead of it going into the background and showing that there's more depth. So the way that I fixed that was, for one, I totally erased it because I hated the design of it, and I simplified it and I made it a little bit better. But also the bands that go around the bristles, you can see that it looks more like we're looking from above down on it from the way that it's curving around. And that really implies that it's going off into the distance and that we're looking at the top of the bristles instead of the side, if that makes sense. And that just really helped it look like it was supposed to be more of the right length. And it really did improve the piece a lot. I feel like that was a very horrible weak point in this piece, and once I fixed it, it was able to look a lot better and to move forward past this design element that just really wasn't working. So for this one, as I was trying to block out the colors, I really started gravitating to using orange and purple in the color scheme, and those being the main colors. And the reason that I love these two colors together is that they're almost complementary. So purple and yellow are complementary, and orange is just a little bit off from that, and they just go really well together because purple is a cool color and orange is a very warm color, so they pop off each other really well and they just contrast a lot. And I like that. I like what I can do with it. So I was excited about having those two colors building up this whole piece and really being very strict as far as not adding any other colors. I knew that I just wanted it to be a pretty simplified color scheme since I was working off of Halloween colors. I didn't want it to get too chaotic or bring in too many other colors. So those are the ones that I stuck with, but I did play around with the actual types of oranges and purples a little bit more. So I tried out a little bit more of a yellowy orange and a little bit more of a red orange, and I just wanted to kind of see if there were different types of oranges and purples that I could get that would make it still look very Halloween, but also be a little bit more subdued or a little bit more particular to this piece instead of being that very traditional Halloween types of oranges and purples. So I was just really playing around with this and having fun with different takes on these very traditional Halloween colors. And I was so excited when I could finally start working on these buildings down below her. And I knew from the beginning that I did want to include these elements, but I didn't want them to be line arted. So I was going to include that in the coloring phase right here. And the reason that I chose to do that is because I wanted them to look in the distance like they're receding away, and it's night, so it's going to be dark. And one of the ways that you can show depth in your pieces is when things are farther away, they do have less detail. And this is a much more stylized way of doing it where I just have the silhouettes of these buildings, but I really like that effect, and I like how it finished the composition and it made it look like she was inhabiting a place and a world instead of it kind of just being this character vignette. And that's something that I'm really pushing, is making sure that there is more of an environment and a story behind everything I do instead of just a single character hanging out. So once I added that element, it made the piece so much more complete and interesting, at least to me. And I love it when I can do those those last few steps that really concrete the picture so that it makes it the way that I wanted it to be. And the last few little steps that I took on this was that I just bumped up the brightness and the contrast, and I actually usually do that on all of my pieces. It just pushes it a little bit further to make it a little bit more easy to read and a little bit brighter and more interesting. And that is pretty much it for this piece. I really loved working on this, and I'm really excited about the couple more Halloween pictures that I have thumbnailed out that I'm going to work on, so that's going to be really fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you can catch all my future art videos, and until then, I'll see you next time. Bye!